Well, hello and welcome to the SAS Viya Release Highlight Show. After a long summer break, we're back at it with your latest SAS Viya updates. I'm Tiago de Souza, and today's show will cover a lot of new Viya features. For today's release talk, experts Sachin Samudre and Sone Sanders will tell us more about SAS models and how SAS is bringing AI directly to your doorstep with ready-made AI models. We'll start the show with the rundown, where you'll hear about SAS Model Manager, including the Trustworthy AI Life Cycle, publishing SAS models in Databricks, and more from Sophia Rowland. Plus, we'll get an update on SAS Studio, including the new Data Connection Manager, Code Editor, Job Enhancements, and more from Gemma Robson. And of course, in our Into the SAS Viyaverse segment, David Vike will show us some of his favorite new features, including the new DuckDB Access Engine in SAS Studio, an LLM custom step generator with Azure OpenAI, and more. What a lineup! Is everyone ready? Yeah! I'm ready. Are you ready? Good. I give you the rundown.
Hi, I'm Gemma Robson, and I'm excited to share with you some of the amazing new features in SAS Studio on SAS Viya Stable Release 2025.06. Designed to deliver a cleaner interface, faster performance, and more seamless experience for flows, steps, coding, and data management. First, importing data is now a consistent experience for flows and as standalone. Let's choose to use the flow. You can import files directly from your desktop, no need to upload them separately. And you can edit the metadata for Excel files during the import process. Continuing with data management, the new Data Connection Manager simplifies how you manage and view library connections to a whole host of data. Choose your data source, name it, and add pertinent information, and you're ready to explore the content using the new search functionality and new sticky folders. Speaking of exploring, the upgraded table viewer now has infinite scrolling, column auto-sizing, formatted and unformatted data display, and persistent filters across sessions. You can also copy and paste a range of cells into a text file or directly into Microsoft Excel. Flows have had a visual refresh to use curved arrows, a cleaner details pane, and code generation via the toolbar. You can also organise steps more flexibly and use them outside of flows. And we can't forget about the coders. The new code editor is faster for both SAS and Python coding. It includes a built-in minimap, syntax suggestions for Python, and enhanced help for SAS users. Finally, SAS Viya Jobs. The visual prompt designer can now be used directly in the job editor, eliminating manual JSON creation. Additional enhancements include running a job definition that contains JSON prompts inside SAS Studio and a more streamlined end-to-end job development experience by using the Submissions and Job Status window. For a more detailed overview of the 2025.06 release of SAS Studio, watch the Ask the Expert webinar, What Makes the New SAS Studio a Game Changer?, presented by Alexei, the SAS Studio Product Manager. Also, jump on over to SAS Communities, where you can comment on my blog, Faster, smarter, more intuitive, SAS Studio 2025.06 stable release. And let me know what your favourite new feature is.
Hello, everyone. I am the product manager for SAS Model Manager, and our team has been busy working on customer requests over the last few months. Today, I want to walk through 3 big new features that our customers were asking for, as well as introduce a new open source project. In April, we were working alongside our open source program office here at SAS to create an open source project based on our Trustworthy AI Life Cycle. The SAS Trustworthy AI Life Cycle outlines steps for evaluating and deploying a more trustworthy AI system. It aims to make the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, also known as NIST, recommendations, standards, and best practices for AI risk management easier to adopt and follow. We are using GitHub Pages and automated actions to build and deploy a collaborative page to document and support the assertion that organizations have done their due diligence to provide the evidence that the model is fair and the processes do not cause harm. You can find this project on GitHub under SAS Software/SAS Trustworthy AI Lifecycle. In May, we made version bumping optional. Previously, if you published a model or set that model as champion, the model would automatically increase the version. This allowed us to keep a one-to-one match between the models in our repository and other destinations. Now that version increase is now optional, and the user gets to decide whether to increase the version or not. We are expanding our usage of read-only locking to ensure that we maintain our model matching. In June, we added support for Databricks as a publishing destination for SAS models. Users can now publish their SAS models and execute them within Databricks. Also in June, we expanded our support for PMML to more models and more versions of PMML covering version 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, and 4.4. Users can import supported PMML models into SAS Model Manager and have them automatically converted into SAS data step code, which can be executed, tested, deployed, and monitored from SAS Model Manager. The Model Manager team has been hard at work with many more great features coming soon.
That was today's rundown. What features are you excited to hear about? Let us know in the comments. All right, it's that time again. It's time to dive into the SAS Viyaverse with David Vike.
Hello, and welcome back. This month's highlight is definitely the new DuckDB Access Engine that has been released, enabling us to work with Parquet files, Delta Lake files, Apache Iceberg files, and more. We are going to dive into that and a bunch of other features as well. Let's get right into it. We are starting things off inside of SAS Information Catalog. And do not fear, this time I'm not haunting you about adding more metadata to your data. This time we are taking a look at the new and enhanced Preview Data tab. You might remember it was called Sample Data before. That's right. Now we get this enhanced view that lets us easily scroll hundreds, if not thousands of rows if we want to do that, and enables us to work with our data even quicker than before. This also gives us more capabilities around hiding columns, pinning, sizing, and sorting them so that you can really dig into the details without ever having to leave the information catalog itself. If you need that deeper dive into the data, looking at row level content to help you identify if this is the correct data source for your specific use case. Now, from Information Catalog, we are going to be moving over to SAS Studio. In SAS Studio, we are going to be looking at the new DuckDB Access Engine that has been released. Now, the DuckDB engine comes with different capabilities. There's kind of 2 major things here. One is the ability to connect to blob storages on Azure, on GCP, and on AWS, but it also gives you the ability to interact with local files that you have on your NFS server, for example. That's what I'm going to be showing here, just for simplicity's sake, and also not having to hide any credentials in here from you, so you can really see the full details. we are going to set things off with our classic lib name. We're giving it the name, and then we specify the access engine, DuckDB. Next is the file path, and here you will see a big divergence depending on what you are working with. So there's different syntaxes and configuration options available if you're working with Azure, for example, versus AWS. In my case, it's pretty simple because it's just a path on my file system that's attached locally. And then I specify the file type that I want to turn into a library here. I'm going to be specifying per K, but there's also the ability to work with CSV, JSON, Delta, Iceberg, and also DuckDB itself. And in my case, we are going to run this libname statement, and then we will see our additional library called test show up in my library connections over here. And looking into it, we can see there is 6 tables available inside of this library. So there's 6 corresponding Parquet files on my file system that I'm working with. And we are going to take a look at this flights-1 million or 1M data set that we will be working on, and it contains the flight data of 1 million different flights. Now, we can simply set up a proc SQL, select distinct on these million rows, and you can see how quickly this returns to us. And taking a look at the log, we can see that this took us hardly any time to process through these million rows here. Depending on your dataset, this enables you a lot of new capabilities. You can, for example, change the schema within DuckDB of your dataset and run through snapshots. There is so much stuff to dig into. I highly recommend you check out the documentation. Now, let's move on to new custom steps that have been released on the SAS Studio Custom Steps repository. First up is the fork step. The fork step enables you to run different processes in parallel, and then you can also wait for them to all finish running. This is great if you have a highly complex SAS Studio flow that could leverage parallel processes, and you can just spin up more processes and SAS sessions in the background, wait for them to finish, and then continue on from there. Next up is a custom step that helps you build custom steps. Now, the LLM custom step generator with Azure OpenAI can help you to generate a new custom step just by prompting the large language model. That, I'm sure, is gonna be an absolute multiplier for building new and highly specific custom steps for you. With that, thank you very much for spending the time with me, and I hope you can explore the awesome new unlocks for data with the DuckDB engine inside of this new SAS Viya release. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, David. Lots of great features there. You may have already heard about SAS Models, a new SaaS offering of ready-made models designed to help organizations make faster, smarter decisions without compromising on compliance or transparency. Whether it's worker safety in manufacturing or document analysis in healthcare, these models are shaping how AI is applied across industries. In today's release talk, we'll explore how these models are built, how they're governed, and what makes them a game changer for users looking to scale AI responsibly. I recently spoke with 2 standout voices from the SAS Solutions Product Strategy team, Sachin Samudre and Sone Sanders, both senior product managers who are leading the charge on SAS models, bringing deep expertise in model governance, decisioning, and industry innovation. Let's learn more. So unfortunately, Sone was not able to join us for this call, but we do have Sachin on the call today. Hi, Sachin. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Diego. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So to get us started, we've been hearing a lot from users, a lot of pressure on users saying that their managers don't want them to just use AI, but they need to prove the value of an approach. Could you tell us what SaaS models are and how they're built specifically for users?
Yeah, Diego. So that's a great question and really relevant right now, right? So it's exactly right. There's so much pressure right now to experiment with AI, but to show return on investment quickly. Like, that's where the emphasis is, right? And so that's where SaaS models basically come in. They're pre-built, domain-specific AI and machine learning that's developed using SaaS's decades of data science expertise and industry experience. So if you can think of them as accelerators rather than starting with a blank slate for organizations and users, right? They can take that model that's already grounded in like ground truth and vetted methodologies and then immediately apply it in the real world. So what makes our models special is that they're designed with that end user in mind. They're explainable, transparent, and flexible. So organizations basically don't have to reinvent the wheel or stand up a center of excellence around data science. And essentially, it allows them to use and combine speed and trust and deliver and demonstrate value much more quickly.
So it sounds like it ultimately helps users innovate more effectively. How do SaaS models specifically help this innovation become faster and more relevant?
Yeah, exactly. So, like, if you think of SaaS models as innovation engines, right? Something very lightweight. Instead of needing long data science cycles before you see impact, with a lot of models, they have a long lead time. This will give them a head start. So, our models are pre-built, like I mentioned before, and the barrier of entry is lower because of that. So you can plug them directly into your data environment and into your development environment and start experimenting right away. So this innovation makes it both faster and more relevant because you're not just testing like a theoretical approach, you're applying something that's already been used successfully. And for businesses, this translates into lightweight, low risk proof of concepts that you can adopt a model, validate it with your data, and move along and scale it up as the results are looking promising. So you can get a signal very quickly, and that allows teams to be nimble, reduce cost, and support a culture of like continuous innovation without having to slow your team or results down.
That's awesome. That's what I love to hear. Pre-built, plug and play, super streamlined and easy to use. What I'm curious about is, could you tell me what your favorite model is in particular? Could you give me an example and what industry it plays in?
That's a great question. It's one of my favorites. So, one example I love to point out is our document analysis model. So, we've adapted it for medical records, and basically, if you can think about organizations in healthcare, they are overloaded with unstructured data. Think about all of the opportunities there, right? Physicians' notes, imaging reports, your patient's records. What this model does is it applies like NLP, so natural language processing, to make sense of all of that text, right? For example, a hospital might use it to quickly extract data and clinical insights from like thousands of patient records and images. And then it can flag those that require urgent attention or streamline the documentation for compliance as an input into another business process. So if you can think of, instead of staff spending hours poring over notes, they can focus on care decisions, which essentially leads to improved patient outcomes and reduces the administrative burden, right? So a very tangible impact that clinicians and managers in healthcare, that's demonstrated by our document analysis model. It can also be used across many different industries, right? So think about use cases around images for bill of lading and shipping containers, or its applications in the legal field. So Yeah, those are just a few of the examples that, just one of our models can enable a small to medium sized business very quickly with.
Yeah, I love that. For document analysis, that model in particular with the medical field, there's just so much data coming in from all directions. And we know that doctors don't always have the best handwriting, so I can see how that can come in handy there. If people wanted to learn more about SaaS models, where would they go?
So the easiest place to start is with our AIM model program resources. That's where you'll find the latest pre-built models, the documentation around that, and some industry case studies. For those that want to go deeper, SAS Model Managers out there, that provides a hands-on way to test, kind of adapt and deploy the models in your own environment. And we encourage organizations to connect directly with our SaaS team. So AIM, the Applied AI and Machine Learning group here, is always anxious and ready to hear what our clients have to say. We love working side by side with clients to identify the right starting point and show how these models can make AI truly practical and impactful in their business. So at the end of the day, we want to help organizations move from AI experiments to AI impact in a way that's fast, responsible, and scalable. So we'd love to hear, we'd love to hear from you.
Perfect. Lots of resources available, but also feel free to reach out directly. We'd love to hear from you. Sachin, thank you so much for coming on the show and telling us about SaaS models.
Thank you, Tiago. It was great chatting.
Thank you, Sachin and Sone, for joining us today. It's clear that these models aren't just powerful, they're also practical and helping users prove real value with AI. Before we go, don't forget about registering for the 2025 SAS Hackathon. The SAS Hackathon is not like typical 1 or 2 day hackathons. The SAS Hackathon will take place over a 1-month period, September 15th through October 10th. Teams will collaborate to come up with innovative solutions to real-world problems while using SAS Viya and open source. You can form your own team or join a team. But what if you're still in post-secondary school and don't have a team? Don't worry, we have you covered. New in 2025, students can register for the Student Individuals track using your academic email. Participants will use Cortex, an analytics simulation game developed with HEC Montreal to tackle a fundraising challenge. Registration for the SAS Hackathon is now open through August 31st. That means there are only a few days left. To learn more and to register, go to sas.com/hackathon. Well, we have reached the end of our show. If you're watching this on YouTube, why not give us a like, subscribe to the SAS Users YouTube channel, and click on that bell so you'll get notified for new videos and when we go live for our next show in October. Until then, comment on what topics you'd like to see in future shows. I'm Tiago de Souza. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the fall.